Hello indie game fans, here's another set of awesome indie games with demos for the Steam Next Festival, beginning with Odinfall, an action roguelike title with a Norse mythology theme, but with a twist since this is in the post-apocalypse Viking future and you have to take down Odin instead. This game looks awesome due to the pixel art and has the gimmick of allowing you to build and customize your own weapons so you can mix and match abilities and modifiers to get your desired build, and gives me Nuclear Throne vibes as well. A game that simply looks awesome is Mech Builder, essentially Gunpla the game, in which you are building out a model kit but does build itself as a puzzle game, but in which you have complete freedom to assemble the mech however you want to, so I don't know how puzzly that is, but it sure looks awesome. This video is brought to you by Fantastic Haven, a cozy city builder title in which you are taking in magical fantasy creatures, caring for them, teaching the locals more about them, and eventually releasing them back into the wild in order to stabilize the balance of the world. It takes place in a world that is dwindling in magic, where the people look towards technological advancement instead and have begun to hunt these creatures down, but in doing so threatens the balance of the world. Thus your role also involves educating and convincing people to live in harmony with these creatures. You must construct buildings and infrastructure, research technology, and expand to improve the refuge, having been described as Zoo Tycoon with fantasy creatures, so you get the idea. The free demo of the game is available right now, so go play that and wishlist the game.
Explore a world filled with wonder, mystery, and some of these things. And then slap them. And slap those too. Just slap it all. Except these.
The sequel to a beloved sandbox crafting title is Crashlands 2, which appears to be retaining the core experience of what made the first game great, having the crafting loop of gathering resources, upgrading your base, crafting better equipment, and then going out further to explore to get new and better resources, so check it out to see what's new. I've been pretty excited about this game ever since I came across it, since Demonschool is a turn-based tactical RPG that looks to have some Persona vibes, in which our heroes must defeat big beardos in between the human and demon worlds. The combat system is one of the most interesting parts, in which units interact contextually with the environment, objects, and enemies. And you can also set up combos depending on the position of your units, so you could, for example, dash up to and knock an enemy backwards, only for it to be in the line of attack of another character, looking to be very interesting strategically. In between combat are life sim elements as you navigate university life and plan your schedule to level up, so it is an interesting blend of genres, with this finally getting a release date in September. I believe I have mentioned Sworn on the channel before, since this action roguelite based on Arthurian legend has an awesome look, in which our heroes fight their way through a fallen Camelot in order to battle the corrupt King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table. Arthurian legend is fascinating in how much of an effect it has had on games and media through the years, from Hades to Knight vs Giant, the Broken Excalibur from last year, to even the King Arthur strategy titles, but this iteration will definitely be for fans of the action roguelite. It does look very Hades, which is not necessarily a bad thing, since, for example, you're pledging fealty to the Fey Lords rather than receiving favours from the Greek gods, and in a similar way looks to be all action all the time. Furthermore, this looks to be similar to games like Curse of the Dead Gods and Raven's Watch, which themselves are Hades-like in nature, so add another high potential game to the list.
Driftlands feels like your first. Perhaps because each nightfall feels like it might be your last. One thing remains constant. Nothing beats the thrill of excitement a new sunrise brings.
A game which is releasing next week is First Dwarf, an action RPG with crafting and base building elements in which you play as a dwarf in a mech, sent to explore newly created floating islands after the sundering of the world. You are searching for precious resources, having to construct a base with some light automation elements in order to extract them, but of course that draws the attention of enemies that you need to fight. You have a dragon companion by your side and have control of it, being able to fly around and explore, so it looks to be a fantastic entry, and due to the release date, give the demo a go and decide on whether or not you want to buy it at launch.
Place you can call home. A place to nurture and care for. Even when you believe your task is complete, there's always another island to chase. Another place that'll make it all feel like it's the first time.
I have a rendezvous with death. At some disputed barricade. It may be she'll take my end.
Here is some news that I've been waiting for quite a while, since the World War I survival horror game CONSCRIPT now has a confirmed release date in July. This title immediately captured attention when it was first revealed, which then led to a successful Kickstarter in 2020, and while its initial targeted release was 2021, 3 years later, the game should be out pretty soon. The art style and look of this game is impressive, capturing that old PS1 era look, which is awesome and has really become popular in recent years. You play as a French soldier in the trenches, where the mixture of chemical weapons and shell shock will lead him to see things that might or might not be there. Not to mention the constant threat of enemy mortar fire or even soldiers bum rushing you in the trenches. I'm not sure if there's anything supernatural going on, but the horrors of war are put front and center here, so maybe there's no need for monsters, since humans are the monsters after all, so if you love the genre, this is one to get.
I'm true. I shall not fail that rendezvous.
The next game from the developer of Graveyard Keeper is Bloomtown: A Different Story, a self-described narrative JRPG with elements of a social RPG as well as a 1960s Americana setting. Our protagonist and her friends must save their town from demonic creatures that live in the hearts of the residents. The pixel art is on point, and the life sim elements like fishing and growing plants looks neat, but the core turn-based combat looks like it's for fans of JRPGs, and I recently came to the realization that there are monster taming elements as well, since you can capture said demons, and is one of my most anticipated titles. I've been banging on and on about this game since Silence of the Siren is a Heroes of Might and Magic-like turn-based strategy game combining overworld exploration with a hero avatar as you capture resource-producing structures and encounter enemies, but then switches to turn-based combat on a hexagonal grid and also has a castle building element. This is sci-fi instead of fantasy, so I am intrigued, and it also comes to us from the developer of, get this, Project Hospital of all things, so it looks like a labor of love. After multiple videos with developer commentary, we finally get a gameplay trailer for Farah the Sundered Tribes, a monster hunting survival action RPG that sure looks like indie Monster Hunter, but also has more of a village building and tribe management aspect. You are traversing the world battling giant monsters, fighting back to reclaim the land of your people, and with essentially a wingsuit and a grappling hook, mobility will be a key factor here, with the severing of limbs being a critical aspect in combat as well. The NPC tribes people will help to construct and upgrade your home base, which presumably results in upgrades looking gorgeous and is a must play. Watch this video for more action RPGs.